Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my fellow YouTubers, Facebookians. Aries here with a video. Aaron's gonna take over. I'm just gonna grab something real quick behind me. So, Aaron, what's today's topic about?
We were thinking about changing our plans, so we figured we'd inform on our newest plans. As you know, at one point we were talking about having a visitor from Kentucky who is unable to come at this point, so we've had to change things.
I do want to say to our video audience, we're ministers, so we should tell the reason. We got an email that was.
I don't know. I'm not in the one in conversation with them, so.
The email basically asked why they couldn't come, and the answer was I don't know.
So, anyways, our visitor won't be coming, and however, we may have another visitor. My friend Josh from Cleveland, who I haven't seen in a long time. He's one of my oldest friends, and it'd be great to see him. And Josh, if you're watching, hello. We're more than happy to have you come out here. We're still planning on going to Whitefish, Montana for a couple days. We might do it towards mid-June rather than the beginning of June, though, just because of rent and everything, which we didn't incorporate to begin with.
Yes, I was just going over the thingy. By the way, I sent Angela one of these. Wonder what she thinks of it, you know? Anyways, it doesn't really matter.
Who knows? So, anyways, it looks like our menu's going to be changing a bit, and our planning is changing a bit.
However, it's not going to be terrible bad. I mean, I got to go to the library still print out the June and July's menu, but so far the menu for wherever it is.
Josh was just waiting on his tax return, so.
Down! You got a little Udermo behind here, my dog.
Yeah, he probably wants a steak bone.
Yeah, he's been trying to dig in the trash for it, actually, so. But anyways, we've been going through some stuff off and on, and yeah, so, even though we won't have one guest, we could have another. They can more than they're more than
welcome to come out here and join us on our trip to Whitefish, or maybe we can rearrange our Whitefish trip so that they can stay their time and then we can go to Whitefish after they go. So that would all work too. So we gotta kind of wait and play some things by ear.
And one-way ticket
I'm good at playing things by
ear. Is $119. Yeah, I am for the most part. I do get a little irritated, but me and Aaron worked some stuff out today. I just gotta say. We were both snippy, so was he, for 5 days of cigarettes,
really.
And
I'm kind of cranky, yes, but snippy, no. I fake snipped at her a couple times the day I quit, which was, today's the 5th day. So, I was acting kind of snippier than I was. Now I'm kind of snippy, but quietly. I wish the craving would go away. I mean, I just had dinner and I'm sitting here like, yeah, I could use one. It just feels weird not having it.
Just so you all know on this channel, I was kind of like that for the last 5 days. God got me through a hardship.
You have actually been very difficult lately.
So have you. But anyways, about alcohol. But I'm glad I didn't get
alcohol. You don't have alcohol.
I do. There's wine
You're not drinking alcohol.
I'm just saying I was going to, but God got me through it. Remember,
you had some various problems going on.
Yes, but today it got fixed, and I'm laughing my butt off, and that's all I can say. God's blessed me well. So, on that aspect.
Yes, do enjoy your catalogs.
Yes, I was gonna order another one for cigars from another company soon.
So we didn't have a heck of a lot to say today. Rita wanted to do a topic on layaways, which I think we've done before. In fact, I'm pretty certain we have. And then, yeah, in fact, I know we have. And then she wanted to do, what was the other topic you had?
Amazon wish lists.
Amazon wish lists, which I thought was a horrible idea at the moment. I mean, right now is just not the right time. Hi, what do you want?
I don't know what he wants.
Do you want to be in the video?
Yeah. I bet he does. That's why he's hopped up on your leg.
Oh, yes.
Even though he stinks.
Yes, you do stink. Yeah, he walked up to me earlier. I'm like, oh. And Rita's like, what's wrong? I'm like, dang dog reeks. Yeah, you're probably getting your stink all over my hand, aren't you?
So anyways, the other thing we wanted to say to you all, and Aaron can say it from him, is he ordered Thompson, I ordered Cigar International. We will be doing online after we get some notes.
Honestly, the reason I did the cigars is Rita wanted to do cigars, and I had money left, and I didn't want money left because I'm trying to quit smoking, and if I had even a dime to my name and there was a way for me to get smokes with it, and I could see myself doing it, it would have just been a waste of money. So I figured, okay, this is something I can invest my money in. I wanted a video game, but it was $34.99, and I only had like $40, so I was like, no, I'm not going to bother with that. So
Aaron went ahead and he says, I'm going to get some cigars. So we got like 20 cigars.
And then she got 20 cigars so that we could match.
Yeah, but Aaron grumped at me before because I paid more, but the reason
I don't know how many I'll honestly smoke out of the whole thing either, because I'm not a cigar person.
Yeah, I was going to say, the problem with Cigar International is 2/3 of their samplers are sold out, so I had to pay a little more money than I should have for
it might not be bad to walk out of town once in a while, but
we don't have a humidifier.
I don't know if I could smoke 20 of them in like 2 weeks' time.
I can.
Yeah,
just give them to me.
Yeah, might have to.
God's blessed me well.
She'll smoke 2 or 3 a day. I don't know.
I want to get it. We discussed getting a humidor next month, just a basic one to humidify. Aaron said he had an idea, so. However,
I mean, for me, kind of going on a cigar bender is like having one every month. You know, if I have one a month. For Rita, a cigar bender is going through a 40-pack in a week.
No, it took me about 6 weeks to go through about 200 from Thompson about 7 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
And my manager at the apartment was like, "What's that stink?" I'm like, "Hey, man, not my problem."
Yeah, there was a lot of people at your building complaining about that during that time. But it's not a non-smoking building like ours is now, so you might not smoke as many either.
I will, even if I have to go outside and lean my chair up against the wall. I'll smoke right under my balcony. There's no law that says I can't.
No, technically it's outside, and there's nothing that could stop a person from going and smoking outside.
The manager said if I had a little barbecue, I could barbecue on my grill right there. They're already letting people upstairs do it anyway, so what the heck?
Yeah, and I think that's a bad idea because heat rises and it's wood beams right above it, and that's horrible.
Yeah, but you're not in the building where those idiot morons do it too. So.
Your idiot moron next door does it. The woman in 12.
Well, then I'll have to have words with the manager because
she's one of the two, 12 and 6.
So, anyways, my idea for Amazon
and
gifts.
I could see Thug Boy doing it too over at 21, even though they don't have a barbecue yet. If they get one, and we don't know how 23 is yet.
Well, we'll see. So, anyways, my ideas for videos were not that good.
Yeah, we really don't have any topic ideas, and.
Anyways, what we're going to say is we're going to take some notes, and we will give you our, whether it be outside at the park or wherever, we will give you our opinion on the cigars. Now, I don't know how well Aaron's are, but I look forward to those Don Lugos because Don Lugos is some really good stuff.
I look forward to the Don Lugo Maduros.
They're really good stuff.
I haven't tried them before.
They're really good stuff.
But I remember also the Don Lugos, a lot of them were really dry.
And that's because they didn't humidify them properly with those cheapo cigars.
So we have no idea how they're going to arrive. They could end up being dry as dry can be and all trash.
Then he's only out $20-some. I'm out double that.
Yeah, I'd be out $33 or something.
I paid $54. But that's because, well, I went eat cigars. So.
And we got a moppy sleeping on my foot.
Yes, so anyways, I do want to say on this review, did you say anything yesterday about your foods? Yeah, you did.
Yes, we talked about the foods.
I do want to say,
watched soccer today. It's the first time I've actually ever caught a soccer match on TV. I've played video game soccer and stuff. From playing the video game, you don't get a feel for how it actually plays out in real life. and I noticed a lot of pushing and shoving. It was a lot of bodies falling over people quite a bit. It made me think of rugby. It was kind of rough. And that just kind of surprised me in soccer. I figured ball control was a lot easier than what they were showing, but here's professionals and it's bouncing off their legs and going off in the wrong direction or passing them, and it's like, whoa, gotta go chase that down. And so it looks like it's a lot harder than the video game makes it out to be. And I remember playing it when I was in, like, I don't know, I was like 6 or 7. It was a youth soccer camp. And I don't remember much about how difficult it was, and I've never really watched soccer since then. Played it in high school a few times, but, you know, we were stupid kids. It was more like, how hard can you kick it? Or just how soft can you kick it to the next person for your passes. They never really went flying past because we were all slow kids.
Yes, so anywho.
Anyways, I thought that was interesting. Then we watched hockey.
One guy got his nose broken, I think.
Yeah, it looked like
he
it.
ain't been in tomorrow's game.
We watched the Blackhawks against the Blues.
I think the Blues won.
Blues did win. Second day in a row with a last-minute goal that ended up pushing them into overtime, and they won in overtime when they were losing just about a minute left in each game. So that's kind of cool to see. But anyways, that's it for our show today.
Yeah, so if Mr. Josh is watching, he needs
I hope
to
he's not watching while washing. That'd be bad.
No, he could be washing his laundry or doing his dishes.
Yeah, oh, that is different types of washing, I suppose.
As long as he can do both at the same time and not showering, washing.
They do have those computer monitors for like in your shower and stuff that are on the wall, and they're touchscreen.
Yeah,
or
probably Bill Gates has.
They're
email.
waterproof.
Oh, great. Email them in the shower.
Can you imagine answering a Skype call on one of those things and be like, hi?
Be like Star Trek. Star Trek 5, he's sitting there. So, Jim, can you do it? Well, you just caught me. I was going to go to take a shower, and it's like a shower on a starship. That'd be an interesting thing, how it works.
Yeah, one of these days we're going to have one sitting in front of the toilet, one sitting in front in the kitchen above the stove, one above the sink, etc. So no matter where we are, we have a computer right there that's totally waterproof, and, do our thing all day long, because people can't put their cell phones down. Here I'm thinking we're almost done. Last night I'm so cranky at the moment. I just wanted to throttle my neighbor's son. Luckily I didn't. It would have been abuse of a minor. But I walked over to see what was written on the manager's door. And as I'm walking back, I got Moppy in one hand and he pulls one direction. I'm trying to get him to kind of come back to me. And I'm turned sideways. And here I hear flip-flops in the corner going dragging across the ground, and I notice he's wearing socks, and I stopped paying attention to him, and then I was paying attention to Moppy. Next thing I know, he bumps into me, and he's like, watch where you're going. And it's like, why don't you watch where you're going? You're the one who's got your nose buried in a cell phone while you're flopping all the way out to your parents' car and back. Why don't you look up for that dang thing for 5 minutes to walk to the car and walk back in without running into people? And when you do run into somebody, don't get in their face and tell them to watch where they're going. I felt like decking him one. I just wanted to go, But it's not how I am either. I'd never do that to anyone.
I do want to say a story for you all now. I'm not a violent person. Sometimes Aaron sees my anger, but I'm not violent. But anyways, yesterday me and Aaron had to make some chuckles and jokes. Just because I see that look at you. I'm not violent. You know this.
What look?
The one that's like...
I don't see any look.
Yeah. Anyways, I wanted to throttle 7 women yesterday and whack them upside the head with my cane because they cut lines.
Bad behavior. They just cut right in front of us. A whole group of them. And it started with a woman who doesn't even live around here.
Olympia, the capital.
We were second and third. And then this woman gets out of her car and walks up and starts talking to her like she's the best friend they've had in the entire world their entire life. Even though the girl in front of us was like 18 with a 4-year-old kid who was from Olympia. and it was very apparent they didn't know each other because they were introducing each other. And then the woman who got out of the car, her friends come around the corner like 2 minutes later, and they start gossiping with them. And then like some more women showed up and started gossiping with them. And by the end of the whole thing, and when they finally let us in, there's like 6 women in front of us that weren't there before, and the poor girl who was first in line ended up back 7th. You know, and it's just like, yeah, this is not right. You don't just go and start cutting in front of people.
And then Aaron says, oh, well, I think, you know, and then I look behind as we're going in, and the lady that we know from our old apartment complex, she's just like happy as heck being behind us. But it was unfair that we sat there.
She actually tried to sneak in front of us, but when it came down to actually going in, she didn't try to go in front of us. She actually hung back, so.
And then I was talking to my friend who.
But I'm sitting there thinking, you know what? They need to post signs of how proper etiquette within lines. How do you actually deal with a line? You do not get out of line and go back into line, where you were. If any line, if you're waiting for concert tickets to go on sale and you've been sitting for 24 hours, and the guy in front of you gets up and walks off, and he's taken all of his gear with him because he might have a sleeping bag and stuff, and he's totally gone and doesn't say, hey, I'm going to the bathroom, you mind watching my stuff, or hey, you mind if I run to the bathroom and come back and get back in front of you? And he just walks off, and then like 30 minutes later he shows up and walks right in front of you, and it's like, yeah, I went to my car to put my stuff up. Yeah, I mean, that's improper etiquette as long as nobody says anything, but if people get upset at you, you need to go to the back of the line. That's the way it works. You got out of line, you're out of line. You go to the back.
That upset me. And then my neighbor, she gets mad at me downstairs. Another proper etiquette thing, like, there's no ham. I said there could be a possibility of ham at the food bank. Instead, you know, actually big hams. Instead, there was no ham. So?
I mean, other line etiquette is you don't cut. And even if you've been first, like, 3 weeks in a row, it doesn't mean that you need to be first every single day either.
Yeah, they just want to get in there and say, oh yeah, look, I went to ham. Instead, they're sitting there, and then when we get in there at the back, going out the back door complaining about
because
no ham.
It was chicken breast.
Yeah.
And it was like 2 chicken breasts with some Greek yogurt. And that was the meat for the day. And it's like, yeah, it's right before Easter. Where's the real meat? But that's the way things work sometimes.
Well, it's like the last time I went, and I'm not ashamed to say it, you know, if Josh is watching, Angela, Heather. The other time this lady came in, she's like this. Oh, you want the chicken hearts? No, I'll take the salmon. I mean, they have like 4 pounds of salmon.
Trying to force the chicken hearts.
You want that? No. And then she pulled out, well, we have this. Half pound of 1 pork chop. No, I'll take the salmon. Then they just give it, and they're like salmon cut like this, long like this, all fillet.
It was 3 slices of salmon, at least that
4
long.
pounds minimum, it says right there. And then she's like, "You want that?" And then Aaron, he sat there, "No, I want the
salmon." I just grabbed the salmon. I didn't care. It's like, yeah, I got my choice. I'm taking the salmon.
Yeah, exactly. Just put it in, nice little salmon gravy, you know, like a little red sauce. Aaron knows how to cook salmon. This lady, "You want the salmon?" Yeah, I want salmon. No, don't want the gizzards. No, I don't want gizzards or hearts. I want the salmon. I mean, come on. How many people are there that's common sense? I mean, come on. And then people behind us, there was not much salmon left, and they're like, oh, no.
Actually, we got the last 2 packages of salmon.
Oh. I didn't know.
So the people behind us were like, come on, take something else. I want the salmon. It was probably a friend of hers behind, so she wanted to make sure her friend got salmon and not you.
Whatever, you know. The point is, you know, then we got these giant potato rounds that are like this.
Yeah, those are kind of interesting. They're like potato tots, but they're like that big around each.
Yeah, and then Aaron, he's sitting there, he's like this. Hey, Rita, take that. I'm like, no, I'm taking these. Then when we left, he's like, you took those, didn't you? I'm like, yeah, why? What are they? Oh, they're potatoes. Well, I thought they were chicken nuggets by the size of the word.
They're bigger than chicken nuggets. I mean, seriously, they're about the size around of a soda can at the bottom, a 12-ounce soda can, which is pretty normal size. And, well, not for a potato round or a potato crown or whatever you want to call them, half tater tot.
Yeah, but anyways, all I'm saying is we got, you know, and I'm not afraid to say it, but The etiquettes were bad. Then they were talking in Spanish, and I could pick up bits and pieces of. They were sitting there pointing at us, going, It's like, has your mom ever taught you not to point and laugh and gaggle and giggle and googly eye? It's like,
yeah, I know. Then this is coming from people doing this in their 40s and stuff. It's like, come on, you're acting like a 2-year-old and pointing and giggling at people and speaking in a foreign language. It makes people want to hit you. That's the way it is. I mean, how are you going to handle it if somebody, and I don't care if you're Hispanic watching this or Russian watching this, if somebody is in your country or around you speaking a foreign language and pointing at you and laughing, what are you going to suspect that they're saying about you? It's obvious it's about you because they're pointing and laughing and giggling.
And then,
so you know they're talking crap about you. It's what are they talking?
And
since you don't know, it just infuriates you. I don't care if you're Russian and I'm in Russia speaking English and pointing and laughing at you, or if I'm in Mexico City and I'm pointing at some people on a corner and laughing and giggling and speaking English. I'd expect them to want to hit me too.
What bothers me also
That's
is
just improper
I was
behavior.
listening to these women, and I pick up a little here and there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, anyways, we're gonna rule the world and rule the country." And I'm thinking, I don't want to pick up the phone and call like Aaron. Aaron told me the other day, says, Rita, I dread calling Social Security to get my information for an access pass for the National Parks for Life. That's why. Press 1 for Spanish, 2 for English.
Actually, the worst is the DSHS office.
Department of Social and Health Services Welfare.
The welfare office for Washington out of Olympia. If you ever have to call that, you press 1 or hold the line for Spanish, and you have to press 2 for English. It's the first time I've ever found a phone where it's, press 2 for English. It's always press 2 for Spanish. Stay on the line or press 1 for English. Well, what happened to English being the primary language in the state of Washington when Olympia's main headquarters is using Spanish as their main? I called there and they had to get a translator for me to speak English in Washington State.
I was going to say, during the 80s and 90s, I was calling up Nintendo and doing some business, Square Enix, Squaresoft, etc. They always had one language. It'd be like, oh yeah. And I remember a few times talking to a few people at Nintendo when I was there, and they're like, we hate the people that call, and they're like, it's like, speak English. Now it's like, Nintendo, they said, is mandatory that you have to know Spanish to answer their phones. Mandatory. For a Japanese company.
Yeah, I'm beginning to think it's a very sad state of affairs. In fact, at dinner, I was just commenting on one of our neighbor's kids. She's 5 years old. She speaks fluent Spanish, doesn't know a single word of English. She's going to be entering school soon, and of course, our schools are beginning to teach all in Spanish out here, and if you're English, you need a translator to go to school.
Did you want to tell them about my cousin Joe?
What I'm saying, no, hold on, I'm not done. And what she's got to have a translator for her kids.
Exactly, her 2 kids.
But what I'm thinking about here is the fact that this is America. We speak English here, and most people have a very difficult time learning 2 languages. If this is now your home country and almost everything you're going to be doing in life is going to revolve around you being able to speak English, then these parents should be teaching their kids English first. And if they want to, at 16, 17, high school age or college, they should take Spanish so that they can learn the language of their ancestors and where they came from. But they shouldn't be learning it as their primary language, not in America. You want to teach them Spanish, take them back to Mexico, live in Mexico with them. Obviously, you don't want them to live here because you want them to embrace their homeland.
Yeah, I agree completely. I was just thinking about, the other day, Aaron and I were talking about, Wyoming. Wyoming's got 12% Hispanic. No big deal. But Montana, 0, pretty much.
And it's not me being racist. It's me being, you know what? You live in a... If I went to Russia, I'm not going to sit there and teach my kids English first. I'm going to teach them Russian first. Because if I'm living in Russia, then they're going to be Russian citizens. And if they're Russian citizens, then you need to speak Russian.
They need to speak Rusky.
Not English.
As the old saying
English
goes,
could
Rusky.
be their secondary language. Or same thing if I go to Japan. They're going to learn Japanese, not English first. Now, if I'm only there temporary, I guess I'd teach them English first because I plan to go back to America.
My aunt made her kids learn English first, Japanese second. So that was the way my aunt was since she was Japanese. You know what? They learned a lot. And my cousins now, the only thing they're belly aching about is they have to get, two do. One works in the Marine Corps. He said he's got a mandatory learning Spanish in Fort Lejeune. And then the other one has got to know mandatory Spanish working up near Burlington for Walmart
and
or
the
Costco.
thing is, of the people of the world, only 43% are able to be fluent bilingually. 43%. So out of 100 children, only 43 of them are likely to be able to speak English and Spanish. The other 57% will never learn English, and they'll be fluent in Spanish. That's why people like Rita's neighbor, both who are apparently American-born from what we can tell, and their brother downstairs and his wife, they don't speak much English at all. Our apartment manager's husband doesn't speak much English. Our former apartment manager, her husband didn't speak much English. They were all American-born. Guess what? They can't speak English. And if they can't speak English, how do you deal with them? Your neighbor in 12 was born in America. She can't speak English.
My neighbor...
she's a sweetheart. She's trying to learn.
My cousin, she said they all should be shot. And she's Border Patrol. She said she's got to have a translator for her own kid.
And she almost is racist towards them. I'm not.
My aunt's racist too.
Teach them English first because you're hindering their ability in life.
And then my aunt says she should have moved to a state like Kentucky where there's redneck hillbillies and won't put up, quote unquote, with these people.
Yeah, so anyways, I'll go to the last thing since we're talking about bad behavior that we've noticed. My neighbor, who I call a thug. Thug boy, goon, whatever. He's been seen
on Broadway.
He's been seen polishing his gun in his window, and he beats his girlfriend, beats his son. Comes in at 3, 4 in the morning. He's a drug dealer. Nobody will do anything about him. The police won't even go there if you call on him. The managers won't kick him out. Well, anyways, he's got a BMW that he drives, and he doesn't have a job. And he lives with his girlfriend, even though he supposedly doesn't. And he'll park it in the parking lot. Well, we have a policy that resident permit parking only. Well, he doesn't have a permit because he's not a resident here, and he can't get a permit. So he parks here anyways, and now he's getting tags on his car because the management doesn't necessarily know it's his, or they probably leave it alone, that says that if he doesn't keep his car out of the parking lot, they're going to tow it. It's like the third warning that he's gotten. He just sat there today and tore it up and threw it on the ground. You know, outright just littered. It's like, yeah, screw this.
I do want to say there is one other thing that bothers me when it comes to bad thingy, since, you know, what do you call that? Bad
behavior?
Yeah, bad behavior, yeah. Thank you. Today, my neighbor's birthday. I said, hey, happy birthday. He's like, oh, your internet. And I'm like...
Yeah, of course. Here we go about the internet again. We had to cut him off the internet. His family had 13 devices on it. His 14-year-old daughter, we know, is flashing her breasts at people online. They had several stolen phones on it, and they got another kid's phone on here that we didn't even approve. She brought it up and said, "This is my new phone. Can you put on the information?" So he put it in. The next thing we know, he's on the phone. It's his phone.
And then it tapped into like...
And he somehow managed to get the information off his phone to put his computer on there, his dad's computer on there.
PS3.
His PS3.
Xbox
and then there ended up like
360.
16, 17 devices.
Then the router just exploded.
So our router died. Well, like, we want to give it back to them, you know, because they're sitting there saying, well, we don't even use it. We only have 2 things on it, and the computer's been broke because the Wi-Fi thing was destroyed by my autistic child. So all we want is Yvette's cell phone on there. Yeah, sorry I used her name. But, because I didn't get her permission.
Sorry, I'm a little tooty tonight.
Yeah, you're steak. Anyways, this girl, she's 14, and...
She's like, oh, look at these!
She shows off almost any guy online who asks her.
The other day we saw her, this guy doing
we
this
only
one
found
day.
this out because when our router was broken, we heard some guy outside yelling at her about when she was going to get on webcam again to show him her breasts. And it was like, no, this isn't right. Well, you're not going to put this 14-year-old back on to expose herself to the world.
And then her mother's an raging alcoholic.
Her
who's always
grandfather is watching Netflix all day long, draining our system, and she's downloading music constantly to her iPod. And then they say, "Oh, we are only using the cell phone." Yeah, right. We give it to you on the cell phone. Next thing it's going to be is the iPod. Next thing it's going to be is the PS3, and the next thing it's going to be is the computer. Then it's going to be this cell phone and that cell phone and this iPod, and then it's going to be all back to where it was.
And then, this is the other thing that really pissed me off about bad behavior. I forgot to tell my audience here. Then, one day, I'm sitting outside, and I said, "Did you hear that?" And Aaron says, "Hear what?" The neighbor's sitting here, "Yeah, anyways, they're going out in June and August and October on their
telling
trips."
a guy that lives in the building who's a known gang member. I really don't want known gang members knowing that we're going out of town, and it's none of his business to be telling anyone when we're going out of town. Luckily, we've planned to change the date, and we're not going to tell him that we're going out of town and when.
And then, that's the bad behavior part. And then today, then his daughter
And
goes...
he claims to be our friend, yet he's telling gang members when we're going to be out of town.
And then his daughter turns around the other day and goes, "Oh yeah, anyways, I can't go to Red Lobster and Cabela's for my dad, and I know you get deals. I want you to get my dad a nice bass rod." Well, who's paying for it? You are. Well, you can do layaway or something. I'm not a bank. And yet, she's like, "Well, you got a layaway too." Yeah, for a fly rod, that's $700.
And this is the same guy who's poaching fish. Like, we really want to help him poach fish, just like we want to help his granddaughter flash herself to the world. And just like we want to help his mother his daughter get more drunk so she can beat up her son more. He's autistic. He doesn't deserve that, and he doesn't. That boy needs to be out at home because they call him Michelle.
Yeah,
it's a boy, and they sit there. "Hey, Kane, are you a little boy, or are you a little girl? Are you a little girl? Yeah, you're a little girl, aren't you, Michelle?"
And then on top of that, she goes and she challenges the man. "I'm gonna sue if you tell my car." It's like, that's not an attitude you do.
Yeah, she drives a Cadillac, and yet this is low-income housing. I mean, that's not quite right.
Like the guy with the Beamer. And then you got all these people, and then the manager's like, "Oh, well, I have payments for my car, but look at these. You got a guy next door, he's got an SUV, another SUV.
Well, the guy next door has like a 2013 Yukon.
And then what irritates me is my buddy that says, "Oh, well, when are we getting the internet?" Like today with his birthday, he's being very cranky. He's like, "I got a truck and I got a boat and no one's going to know because it's in my brother's name and I can get away with doing this and screwing over the government." And then he says, "Oh yeah, I'm using my grandson's food bank card and this and that for lotto tickets."
Yeah. He knows somebody who's willing to give him food stamps, use the food stamps for lotto tickets. Fucking asshole. Pardon my French. I actually just swore. Not something I usually do. Anyways, I'm done with this video.
Yeah, so am I. So you get the point of everything.
Take care. Have a nice day.
And if Josh is watching, please contact Aaron so we can schedule some dates with you. All right. With that said, please add and subscribe. Please post comments. Please add us as a friend. Please leave feedback. Thank you, and may God bless the world.